Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 16th of August. Okay, just information. I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, so you won't get any of these for the next 10 working days. So this is the last one for 2 weeks. So I'll be back in the week after next. Right, let's look at these markets. First things first, let's have a look at news events coming out. If I can catch everything that's there. Financial juice, that's what I wanted first. So, so I scroll up from here. First things, UK retail sales out this morning came in slightly less than expected on the month-on-month figures, 0.5 versus 0.6 expected. It's probably not a massive way out. Core retail sales 1.4. I'm always interested in the core data. 0.7, 0.7 on the month-on-month, so that's fine. That's all good. Just checking there. There's nothing else. Right. That's yesterday. I should mention that US figures came out slightly better than expected. Jobless numbers slightly less than expected there. There was a perfect little storm for a moment, and we saw, if I refresh this, sorry, everything's having to refresh on my computer this morning. Here we are, August 16th, so it's still not refreshed properly. There we go. So we saw some positive data, which in normal circumstances wouldn't really create anything, but in a very quiet market it certainly gave us a decent kicker before then returning to where it was. So pretty much on the pound, not so much the euro. The euro just came off here, struggling a little bit. Let's go through from top down though, technically. Oh, sorry. Did all that and didn't then look at the other news coming out today. So we've got retail sales for UK, got US building permits 130. That certainly, I'd be shocked if that created any volatility. Maybe the consumer sentiment there at 3 o'clock. Let's just check there was nothing else. We've got Fed Harker speaking at 6, so we're clear for the day pretty much. Oh, that's yesterday. Let's get today. Oh, good old Fed Goolsby speaking at 6:25 instead. So around about 3 o'clock, I'm sure you'll be done and dusted by then. I certainly will be. Right, technicals. Looking at the daily basis of this euro, failed at the highs there. Those recent highs, it failed yesterday. Couldn't maintain the positive traction it was making for now, at least. But it's still in a upward trend, although it looks a bit ugly here on the 4-hourlies. Really spoilt things, and probably the dailies here as well. Yesterday, if anything, I would have been looking at a break above the pivot here. It never happened. It just showed you the market was not particularly strong in the first place. The news just really hit it quite strongly there. Quite a few pips off there. Anyway, that's the euro. Nothing I really want to be doing at the moment. We might get a recovery later. The pound recovered completely yesterday after its little episode. Data is quite positive at this on the 4-hour, and it's back on there, and I'm still looking for upside. I haven't got a trade at the moment. It has hit the R1 and not the daily pivot, so that gives the potential for it to push on upwards. You can see we've got pivots just above where we are. In fact, to come back and check, it's not okay. That's a quarterly pivot that's sitting above us. Technically on the dailies, this has got scope to continue pushing up for a while. Technically on the lower time frames, of course, we've got quite a bit of resistance before that would be achieved. Just need to scroll this down a little bit. There we go. So we're already into that R1, R2 possibility, reasonable probability if we come back that could be actually hit later. But it was more a swing that I was looking at getting into yesterday, but it wasn't to be. US dollar yen. The yen lost ground yesterday against the US dollar here, and didn't manage to get any real gain back on it. It's been sitting in this consolidation phase. Now it's away from the lows. Now this happens a lot when you start sitting there away from the lows, and once it's a flag and it starts breaking over, yep, you got the potential of continuation. When you get the sort of flag turn into a flat liner, well, there is a reasonable chance it can go the opposite way to the original direction, which was to the downside, and this certainly has. And it's quite a mess here. Quite ugly in terms of what it is. In terms of being on the buy side, I'd ideally like to have seen it into the daily pivot before I looked at buying anything on that. I'm still sitting there wondering whether it'll roll back again, but I think what the Bank of Japan did was shoot themselves in the foot so well, it could just struggle to do anything for now. Aussie dollar pushing up there again. Another one that, well, it got back to where it started yesterday. It started making some reasonable ground, only to give some away, but it's back on its route. It's struggling with this 4-hourly 200 still. It's struggled and struggled. Maybe if we could get a break above that, we could see a bit more of a continuation. So yesterday, just like the pound, we saw it sell but quickly recover, and we're back on the road for, as I say, potentially a continuation there. Nothing immediate from there that's grabbing me. US dollar CAD, again, it's still running a bit southbound, but it's consolidating, and it's ugly consolidation here, which for me wouldn't be a Friday trade of any sorts. You could just end it. Look how choppy it is and nasty. And again, it was looking quite nice yesterday. I was going to cancel it. It did trigger me in before the news, and then the news literally wiped it back out again there. So wasn't a good day on the Eastern Front yesterday. Anyway, that's the way it bubbles sometimes. Looking at today, well, we've got this sort of turning point potentially. The way in this short term, it might just catch a little bit more of a bit of upside, but the bigger picture to me should be to the downside. I'd rather be shorting it. It's not for today for me now. It's probably today it will be the one that it runs over and pushes on down. Was really looking for it to run back to these prior lows here. New Zealand dollar, maybe next week when I'm away. Don't worry. New Zealand dollar catching a bounce this morning. It couldn't gain back so much. A bit more like the euro, a bit lost yesterday, but it has picked up today. Yesterday it sort of got back up there. Well, it did get back up there, but only to give it back later on again. At the moment, since then, we've been pushing up. I don't have a trade on this. It's become too messy. I might be missing some things here, and I will look through things again once we get into this post 8 o'clock, 8:30 sort of time. Start seeing a bit of price action showing up a little bit more. Some of these things might be a bit clearer. Dollar Swissy, again, this one didn't gain back its losses there, and is sitting there. Just, I mean, you could be looking at the yen pretty much here. Structurally, it was working its way out of this trend line. In fact, I can actually just pop that onto those lows there, because it's still in an upward trend here. So it's just put a deeper, higher low effectively, but not as anyway. Structurally, it's just solid at the moment, and it's in a bit of a channel at the moment, running up there. Opportunities might come on that, but well. It's quite slow during the day quite often. On a normal day, you can see how choppy it gets for long periods. Do I fancy it? It's not really. It's probably more news driven than anything else. So at the moment, I'm not going to go through all the currency pairs here. The euro pounds dropped back here yesterday in time for my travelling. I did ask would they mind just dropping it back a bit. Seriously, it's coming back off here. Let's say with that pound recovery, whilst the euro wasn't, has seen it coming off quite well. So but nothing that I'd immediately want to be trading. There we go. Not a great deal there. So quick look at gold and oil. A couple of commodities here. So gold still struggled in that area there. Triple tops here. Really struggling. Not really doing too much at all. Got quite ugly yesterday again, but it recovered most of its losses there. This is the problem with summer markets. You get nothing, and then you get a bit of not even a major bit of news. I mean, it's all part of why this dips is that because the figures were half decent. The markets were immediately thinking, well, okay, we're not going to see a recession in the US. As they say, one swallow don't make a summer. But for these traders yesterday, the boss is away. Let's all have a play. S&P's still pushing up. This I'd imagine that would happen with that sort of data coming out, and it's held on to the gains. It really is quite slow, but it's pushing on. It's pushed through its major pivots here, back positive, and coming back to the dailies actually here as a monthly pivot pushed through there. It's not too far off its all-time highs again, is it? We could see this running into it next week at this rate. And then the tech stocks here, a bit slower, a little bit behind, but just at the moment into its monthly pivot. Same sort of picture though, otherwise. And the Dow, this was pushing up better yesterday in the morning, and it's holding on a little bit better. A little bit slower today, but again, we're going back towards these highs at the moment. Now, I'm not looking for them necessarily these markets to push on through. There could be a grand stalling at some stage, but they certainly we're seeing a bit of a skip in the step at the moment. But be careful, don't put the mortgage on it. Close to home, the FTSE, well, likewise, figures were good enough for the equity markets, and it's a picture across the board pretty much on the equity markets. The DAX the same, it's positive this morning. Made quite a recovery after that movement last week. It wasn't last week there at the beginning of August there, but pushing up okay. Higher lows coming through. It's gradually pushing back up there. Again, it's not one that I've got an immediate trade on here. Just the way it's gone, and the thinning bars here. We could see a retracement come on these, but the trend is certainly now back into the higher highs, higher lows on those lower time frames. On the upper time frames, where we're still in a bit of a struggle here on the likes of DAX. Okay, that's pretty much it for me this morning. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will catch you later. Well, like in 2 weeks later. If you're on my systems or my little rooms there, you can obviously I'll tap in if there's anything today, but it's been quiet. I expect it to be quiet. I'm going to be enjoying myself. Wish you a great couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon.